Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Ken Davey reporting. The County Commission will take its time in putting the Change of Government initiative on this November's ballot. And the Recycling Center plans a major push to let people know about their programs. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
Arches Vineyards right here in Moab is providing yet more proof that Moab is completely unique to Utah and the world. The Arches Vineyard is Utah's only commercial winery. Grapes grown and fine wine produced just 3 miles south of Center and Main in Moab. Come by the tasting room from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a taste and a tour of the award-winning Riesling or the rich and aromatic Merlot. 2182 South Highway 191, Arches Vineyards. Call 259-5397. Enjoy a toast to the grapes of Moab Valley and Arches Vineyards.
Randy, I
just had a thought. That's just what I was thinking.
And so went the creation of Canyon Country Realty, doing business in the code of the Old West.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
Grand County Commissioners say they realize they have to put the Change of Government initiative on the ballot, but they also say they don't want to vote on it until they have a chance to talk to supporters of that plan. That was the decision Monday at the regular commission meeting. County Clerk Fran Townsend reported petitions in support of the plan being on the ballot had enough signatures to qualify. County Attorney Lyle Anderson told the commission they have 30 days to either place it on the general election ballot in November or call a special election within 18 months. The plan would replace the current county commission with a 7-member body, 5 of whom would be elected by district and 2 at large. Members would be limited to 2 consecutive terms, and residents would be allowed to petition for recall elections to remove them. But Commissioners Manuel Torres and David Knudsen decided they didn't want to act right away.
I think our concerns that I've talked with Manuel are that more information gets put out to the public, and I read in the paper where I think your committee has some intentions on doing that. I'd like to know how that's going to be done, because there's some things on there that are, in my opinion, extremely misleading. And I would feel that as a county commission, if we were to approve and put something on a ballot that is misleading, that would be of a disservice to the community.
I don't understand quite the reason for your indecision. As I understand it, so many people have signed a petition, and that petition is now in a formal structure which cannot be changed. So that regardless of how you feel about it, you can't change it before it's put on the ballot.
I understand that.
So why are you having a meeting when nothing can be changed?
The idea was to create better government, and the idea was to have more of the citizens represented. But yet I read in the paper that Dick Rose, who I assume is a member of the committee, I read his name and everything, says we wouldn't even need a change of government if we could just get rid of the 2 county commissioners that are in there. And I think that's a misrepresentation of the people. On one hand, to say we're looking for a better form of government, on the other hand, to say we don't need this form of government if we just had a recall vote.
The concept of district elections is similar to those held by the school district and the fire district. Knudsen questioned how democratic they are.
They're saying 7 county commissioners can represent the community better. But yet, the way I understand this is that you can vote for 2 at large and 1 out of your district. So the most you can vote for is a minority of the county commissioners.
But others in the crowd said the initiative had been accurately portrayed by its supporters.
More than willing to share this, and we haven't, we don't feel like we've misled anyone as far as the way this will go. We haven't. We're not trying to get rid of you. We just like to have more people on the board that can represent more people.
And I've got a question of our county attorney. Are all the provisions of this document Are they legal? I mean, can they be done? And does that have any, do we have any say about that? Do we have any responsibility to see that they're legal, or does it matter?
I do not read the statute to require the county commission or the county attorney to make a determination as to the legality of the provisions of the proposed restructuring, or even to permit the county commission to say this is illegal, therefore we're not going to accept this petition until you get a court determination that it is legal. But I think you have a responsibility to speak out. Everyone has a responsibility to speak out about concerns they may have about the legality of any legislation.
In the end, the Commission tabled any action until their next meeting and until they can meet with the Citizens for Better Government. In other business, the Commission agreed to a 10-year lease with the Canyonlands Natural History Association to run the Interagency Visitor Center at Main and Center Streets. Construction on the project is scheduled to begin this year, and it should open next spring. CNHA will pay $2,000 per month over the life of the contract. The first year, that rent will be only $1,000 a month, but in the third year, it will go up to $3,000 for 1 year, then back down to $2,000. The Commission also received a check for $3,750, the amount of money given to the Rodeo Committee to help get the Riders in the Sky concert in June underway. While the concert did not make money, the rodeo was the most successful ever, and the committee was able to return that money to the county. And according to Pete Peterson, there could be more such concerts in the future.
Everybody enjoyed that was there. We were short on numbers, but I don't think the rodeo committee would hesitate to do it again. I mean, I believe that it will work.
Well, that's what it's out there for.
The next Commission meeting will be the public hearing on zoning questions, scheduled for July 27th. The Recycling Center is launching a major campaign to let people know what they can do to help save money and the environment. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-through for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore and more.
Weather's really something.
Heat pump weather.
Why would anybody want a heat pump this time of year?
I can see they haven't taught you everything in college. Well, heat pumps just don't heat in the winter. They cool in the summer.
Like air conditioners?
Yeah. Heat pump's the most efficient cooling and heating system going.
Hi, Earl.
Morning, Audrey.
Come and have some tea.
Say, bring that heat pump on up, will you, son? Oh, and grab my toolbox while you're at it.
Thanks a lot, Earl.
Utah Power. Call for the H-Pro dealer nearest you and ask about our low-interest financing.
Your H-Pro dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
The Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will be fogging Zone 1 on Tuesday evening. Zone 1 includes parts of Moab west of Main Street, from the Colorado River in the north down to the Mountain View subdivision. The Canyonlands Community Recycling Center has announced they will go on a major campaign beginning this week to let everyone in the community know of their goals and activities. The recycling center has been functioning since last winter, and they've collected more materials so far than they originally projected, and they're hoping to expand. And beginning this week, the center will begin a community outreach campaign, according to Center Director Nicholas Brown.
The residential canvas and outreach is July 20th to the 31st approximately, and we are going door to door in the community in Grand County, basically with the goal of educating the community about the recycling program, the opportunities available for citizens to recycle in Grand County, especially through the Canyonlands Community Recycling Center and the various drop-off points that we've set up. And It is also to raise funds for the program. We have a $6,000 goal for this year in local community fundraising, and we're trying to raise $2,000 during the residential canvas.
The center will also sponsor a special event Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon.
We're doing a Recycling Awareness Day at City Market. The basic goal of that is to get people aware of the fact that we do have a drop-off site at City Market parking lot. It's just to the north of the main City Market building there in the lot, and that site does accept tin cans, newspaper, glass bottles and jars, and aluminum cans, and we're trying to make the community aware that this is a very convenient way to recycle right here when you're going to the market and or in the center of town. And we'll be having a lot of stuff going on that day, giving out information. There'll be free coupons to people bringing recyclable materials to the drop-off site. We'll also have for kids recycling raccoon. Rochelle, the recycling raccoon from City Market, will be there.
There have been arguments about who should run and pay for the landfill here, but what everyone agrees on is that in the future, recycling can save space and money.
There's an incredible amount up at the landfill that is recyclable. It's just a matter of getting people to actually take the step, and it's a simple step to take, really. It's just a matter of throwing it in one receptacle as opposed to the other.
And the Recycling Center hopes to expand its efforts over the next few months and years.
Well, I think recycling has an important role to play in terms of getting additional material out of the waste stream and putting it to good use. Recycling, as far as our program goes, has been, we've gotten volumes considerably higher than the amount we expected. We are expecting a total of 210 tons this year, and we originally projected 130 tons. So the volumes are going up. People are using the center more, and the drop-off sites. The Slick Rock site is especially popular with visitors from out of town, and we hope to in the future open up additional sites, and as we do that we'll probably gain increasing volumes.
Once again, the Recycling Awareness Day will be Saturday at the City Market parking area. The Moab City Council is expected to discuss what to do about the landfill at their Tuesday evening meeting. For the past few weeks, the city has hired contractor Jim Bolding to maintain the landfill after the county decided at the beginning of July to pull their crews out. The county has tentatively agreed to look into setting up a special service district, but in the meantime wants the city to pay about $50,000 to run the facility for the rest of this year. Council members are expected to either agree to that figure or continue to run the dump themselves until a long-term agreement can be reached. And the council will also begin accepting applications for the city council position of Dave Bierscheid, who resigned almost 2 weeks ago, effective the end of this month. That council seat runs through 1993. The city council meeting gets underway Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. in the commission chambers of the Grand County Courthouse. United Artists Cable has announced they will be carrying one of the special cable stations with 24 hours of Olympic coverage. The company says they will be able to provide the Blue Channel for the 15 days of the Olympics running from July 26 through August 9. The channel will show volleyball, wrestling, synchronized swimming, and water polo, and it will focus on the Dream Team U.S. Olympic basketball squad, featuring the best basketball players in the world, including Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and Utah's own Karl Malone and John Stockton. The cost of the Blue Channel is $95 for the entire Olympics, and during that period, subscribers will also receive a free premium channel. Or if you prefer, you can subscribe for single days at the cost of $24.95. And for information, you should call United Artists Cable at 259-8136. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse. Now for extra savings, look for these special tags, Manager's Special Purchases, Jackpot Buys, and Discount Food and Snacks. Sprouse.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
It was sunny and hot in the valley on Tuesday. Afternoon temperatures climbed to above the 100-degree mark with just the slightest occasional breeze. And look for more hot weather over the next few days and a few more clouds. The official weather forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for fair to partly cloudy skies through Wednesday. Afternoon thermometer readings should be above the 100-degree mark, with overnight lows around 65. But keep an eye out for some patches of clouds and a chance of some scattered thunder showers. The long-range forecast calls for the warm and partly cloudy skies to stay around through the end of this week. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Ken Davey. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The Moab City Council will continue to operate the landfill until a special service district is formed. And local residents say no to allowing beer in city parks. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues. First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
The Nike Air Moab, only at RIM.
Alpine Air has just gotten bigger with their faster, smoother Cheyenne 3. Expanded their schedule for timely connections and broadened their horizons to include Grand Junction, Colorado. Moab is now more accessible through Salt Lake to the west and Grand Junction to the rest of the world. Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
The Moab City Council will run the landfill, at least for now. That was the decision of the City Council Tuesday evening, where they voted to manage the facility for an interim period until the County Commission can prepare a referendum for the November ballot to set up a special service landfill district. The county has been operating the dump, but pulled out its crews earlier this month, saying the city should pay for the operation over the second half of the year. The city was forced to hire local contractor Jim Bolden to temporarily cover the garbage according to state law. And Tuesday evening, the council agreed to continue running the facility until voters have a chance to approve a district. And drinking beer in city parks will not be permitted under any circumstance. That was a result of a decision by the council to not pass an amendment to an existing ban that would have allowed the council to waive it under special circumstances, such as the recent Discovery Days picnic for Charlie Steen.
The point is, we're not saying that you can go down there and drink at any given time. What we're saying is that on a special occasion, such as the Steen Days, the city council would have the authority to allow that for those specific functions, and only for those specific functions.
But a large crowd of city and county residents showed up and told the council not to allow the sale under any circumstances.
I'm a teacher in the Grand County School District, and I really resent the fact that you even consider allowing this for even a short period of time. I spend my time during the school year teaching the kids to say no. And those that we consider as our city leaders say, well, it's all right, whenever. To me, that is a mockery.
Maybe just one beer won't affect or harm anyone, and then again it just might. Ask a parent who's lost a child to a drunk driving case, if that mattered, or a child or a spouse, whether it's male or female, if that abuse to them mattered.
I would think it would be a shame and disgrace for our children and grandchildren to see people with beer cans or beer glasses in their hand at the park.
If we teach what we're supposed to be teaching to our children today, we'll teach law, order, and living a righteous life. Why should drugs be any different than beer or alcohol?
Because the beer doesn't stay at the park. It may be sold there, but it doesn't stay there. People that buy it don't sleep in the park until they're sober. They drive streets, and they drive on county streets, and they drive on state roads, the same roads we're traveling. And if where they get drunk is at a city park because you've given them the right to consume it at a city park, your moral obligation to the rest of us comes into play.
Council members and others wondered whether the law can and should apply to parks outside of the city limits, including Old City Park and the golf course.
3 distinct areas that they're talking about here. One is the city park, which is near the pool, and you've always got kids playing there. And I think we should not have beer consumption in that park. But then we're also talking about the golf course, where golfers go play 18 holes in the hot sun and occasionally like to have a cold beer. And we've also got the Old City Park, where family picnics can rent the place, and if they want to have a few beers with their dinner picnic, I don't think that should be breaking any laws, and they can ask for the special permit, and every instance can be considered by the council, and with their wisdom, I think they can make the right selections.
I kind of go along with these people that are concerned about these parks downtown, the Rotary and the New City Park, as we call it. And certainly there is certainly an involvement with a lot of kids and whatnot. I personally, out in the county, I don't have any wish to change anything. If we have to change the ordinance to make it legal to say that these parks out in the county and the golf course, well, I'm all for it.
I resent the double standard that you're setting here tonight. Just because we live in the county, does that mean that, it's okay to have drugs in the county, but it's not okay to have them in the city? That's also a family park out there. It's probably used more by families and family reunions and things like that than the New City Park is down there.
You know, we've operated this park. It's been very successful over the years, and all of a sudden it's broken and it's wrong. I don't buy that. In the first place, if you can go into you can buy beer any place in this town in all the convenience stores, and the adult can go buy it anywhere they want to. I know that convenience store down by me. I don't think this is addressing the problem. We're addressing this problem from the standpoint of these special occasions. And I don't disagree with what you're saying about we shouldn't open it up wide open to these parks and whatnot. But why in the world are we dealing with something that's been very successful over the years? I haven't had a feedback from the Sheriff Department of any major problem about the occasions that's going on at the city park. I mean, we haven't had a feedback from law enforcement that we've had major problems out there at the old city park. Why in the heck are we getting mixed up with something that, why break a system that's working? I don't believe in that. Roberta, I don't argue with you about selling, dealing, consumption. It's not it. It's not it. But as long as you can sell 3.2 beer everywhere in this town, I don't see where there's any particular problem in what we set out to do.
Council members decided in the end to table the amendment. Some in the crowd said they wanted beer sales halted at all public sites, including the golf course, the Old Spanish Trail Arena, and the Civic Center. And in other business, the council voted to withdraw its support for the Book Cliffs Road project of the Grand County and Uintah County Special Service Road Districts. And we will look more closely at that council decision on our next broadcast. The local mosquito abatement program is focusing more on early control and less on spraying. We'll talk with District Chairman Mike Holyoke when Channel 6 News continues.
Heinz Curbing can lower the maintenance on any property by installing custom stone curbing anywhere on your lawn or garden. Choose from a selection of styles that keep grass out of shrubbery and eliminate the need for edging. The look is neat, clean, distinctive. The cost very low, and the Heinz crew is usually in and out in a single day. Customers love it.
The decorative curbing I had done really enhances the look of my business, and it's very easy maintenance.
Heinz Curbing, serving Moab and surrounding communities, 259-2242.
In case you've been too busy to notice, McDonald's prices have changed. An original hamburger is just 59 cents, a cheeseburger just 69 cents, a sausage biscuit 79 cents. But if you're in a hurry, don't worry. Because this is not a promotion. It's McDonald's today. And from now on.
Best Value Foods, stress-free shopping where the service is unbelievable. The Moab Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will be fogging Wednesday evening and early Thursday morning in Zone 2. The zone takes in much of Moab City on the east side of Main Street and from the northern part of the city south through the Hecla subdivision and the area around the bowling alley. Spraying for mosquitoes has been a controversial aspect of the district's work. In the past, the district sprayed different neighborhoods throughout the county on a regular schedule, but this year, according to Board Chairman Mike Holyoke, a change has taken place.
Well, basically, instead of doing it on a regular basis, this day we fogged this area of town. It's what we're doing is we're just fogging as need be, and the way that we determine that is by traps that we set out, by bite counts, and a lot by people's complaints. So that we go down and if there's a complaint, we go down and check and see if there is a problem, and then the fogging takes place.
Could you define what you mean by source control?
Source control is basically taking care of the mosquito before it reaches the adult stage. We're taking care of it in the larvae stage before it ever gets to the point where it can bother people.
And how do you do that?
We go to a source, meaning a pond or a place where the larvae hatch. We put BTI, which is a biological approved chemical. We put it in and it kills the larvae. Is what it does is it basically they eat it and it ruins their digestive system.
In the past, there have been debates and arguments over how much spraying is needed in the valley. And according to Holyoke, the discussions are still going on.
What's been the public response to this way of doing it?
Well, We haven't had near the complaints as far as fogging goes. We have had a lot more complaints about about us not coming around and fogging, because people just expect us to be fogging. They think, well, if they're not fogging, then they're not doing their job. That's not true. We are doing, I feel, a more effective job now, doing it on a need-to-do basis.
It's also been more costly to concentrate on source control.
It is more expensive, yes. In fact, that's why we've had a tax increase last year, or put it into motion last year. I said it won't go into effect, till this year. But we've had to hire additional personnel, because that's what it takes to do the source, is to go around and physically go into these places that are problems and put the BTI in the ponds and the pools, and just drain the pools and do stuff like that.
In the past, the fogging truck went by a schedule. Now the district has had to come up with a way of letting people know which nights the spraying will take place.
We've done, and we realize that it's going to be taking extra effort for people to find out, is basically we've made up recordings, we've put it on our machine down at the mosquito abatement office. They can call down there on a daily basis, find out where the fogging is going to take place, at least as planned to take place. It depends on a lot on the weather, whether it takes place or not. Also, we've tried to communicate with the news and try to put on the news when certain parts of the town will be fogged.
Mosquitoes breed in standing water, and located near the Colorado River and having 2 creeks run through town, it means Moab has a mosquito problem for much of the year.
Well, probably the biggest area is down towards the sloughs, where the water has a tendency to accumulate. And certain times of the year, the creeks are quite a problem, and people's backyards. If you leave a swimming pool, a little wading pool, unattended for say 3 days, you'll have larvae hatching out of it, 3 to 4 or 5 days.
And it isn't just natural bodies of water that breed the insects. Individual homeowners can do a lot to cut down on the problem.
I feel like we probably need to do a little more work in that area. The comments that we've been receiving, people don't realize that they could have a problem in their own backyard. They think it's got to be a big pool. Where the fact is, especially this year when we've received quite a lot of rain, any old tires you've got laying around, they're a prime area that the water gets in there. You can't really drain them out unless you pick them up and move them around, and that's a prime breeding ground for mosquitoes. A cup full of water can breed, hundreds of mosquitoes. So we probably need to do more work in that area.
And if you want to find out which areas, if any, are being sprayed any day, you can call the district recording at 259-7161. United Artists Cable is providing the Blue Channel for sports fans who want 24 hours of Olympic coverage. The special cable channel will cover volleyball, wrestling, synchronized swimming, and water polo, as well as coverage of the Dream Team U.S. Olympic basketball squad featuring Utah superstars Karl Malone and John Stockton. The cost is $95 for the 15 days of coverage, or $24.95 per day. And you can sign up by calling United Artists Cable at 259-8136. Friday's Pioneer Day celebration in Moab will be filled with community activities. This year's theme of Back to Basics will feature a parade, children's games, concession booths, and a talent contest. The parade gets underway at 10 a.m. and unlike most Moab parades, this one will travel north, starting at 3rd South and ending up at 1st North. Then the action switches to the new city park, with children's games beginning at 11 a.m. and a talent show that gets underway at the park beginning at 12:30. And for the more athletic, there's the annual Pioneer Day 5-mile run and walk beginning at 7 a.m. For more information and registration, talk to Four Corners Design Center. And the Dan O'Larry Museum will hold its annual ice cream social Friday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. on the courthouse lawn. And this year the event will feature singing and dancing entertainment. Well, up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
It's the best time of year for an early morning or late evening round of golf, and they're ready and waiting for you at the Moab Golf Course. With its emerald green fairways surrounded by brilliant red rock, the Moab Golf Course has all you need to get started, including golf cart and club rentals, a complete pro shop, snack bar, driving range, and group or individual lessons. So come on out to the Moab Golf Course in Spanish Valley. Just follow the signs from Highway 191.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Sunshine in the morning turned to afternoon clouds on Wednesday, with highs staying in the mid-90s, and look for more of the same through the rest of the week. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies, with some scattered thunder showers through Thursday and Friday. Afternoon thermometer readings should stay in the high 90s, with overnight lows down to around 65. And look for the clouds to linger throughout the weekend, with mercury readings staying in the 90s. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Ken Davey reporting. The Bureau of Land Management says they may have to limit access to public lands in order to save them. And the Moab City Council reverses a 3-year position supporting the Book Cliffs Road. We'll have those stories plus the outdoor show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
That's just what I was thinking.
And so went the creation of Canyon Country Realty, doing business in the code of the Old West.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore, and more.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab. The crush of visitors to southeast Utah may force the Bureau of Land Management to begin limiting access to the land. That was one of the points made by the agency Wednesday at the meeting of its Multiple Use Advisory Committee of the Moab District here in town. Members of the committee are appointed by the Secretary of the Interior and look at issues related to multiple use mandates of the BLM. It was the first such meeting held since the appointment of Roger Zortman as the district manager last autumn. Zortman told Channel 6 the meeting was designed to provide an overview of the agency's activities.
We're talking about the impact of outdoor recreation on all other uses, traditional uses and existing uses within the district. Where we're going with energy development within the district. What we're talking about also is how do we protect some of the critical, irreplaceable values found within the resource areas such as archaeological, paleontological, and wilderness values, wherein we are charged to protect and manage these things indefinitely for the future.
Without question, the biggest challenge for the BLM is how to handle the ever-increasing numbers of visitors using public lands. According to Grand Resource Area Manager Brad Palmer, the most visible increase is in mountain biking, but in fact the jump in tourists is across the board, from hiking to jeeping.
In 1989, we had about what we estimate 26,000 visits to the Slick Rock Bike Trail. After the Memorial Day weekend of this year, we had over 46,000 visits to the Slick Rock Bike Trail. And we feel that only represents 80% of what's actually using the trail, that we're missing 20% of the people that either don't go across the counter or drive over the fence or come into it from some other direction. So we estimate we're missing about 20%. Arches National Park, I think this year, is seeing about a 20% increase in visitation over what they had last year.
The BLM has worked to provide sanitary facilities along the river corridor, helping ease what was a dangerous public health situation. But the agency is just now looking at emergency measures to stop the degradation of the Sand Flats area.
In many areas, instead of one road to a campsite, we have 5 roads. The question is, do you need 5 roads to one campsite, or do you need one road? And what we've experienced up there is just because of the sheer numbers of people, if they go to one campsite and they can't get into it, then they just go cross country to get to another one. And before long, the only thing that isn't a road up there is where the vegetation's at. Well, if the vegetation happens to get in the way, or they need fuel wood for their fires, they just cut it down.
In the long run, said Palmer, restrictions may be needed.
We're dealing with a finite resource, and we're dealing with a potentially infinite number of people that are going to utilize that resource. Is there a point in time when you have to say, we want to provide a certain type of experience to the people that are coming here? If we are going to continue to provide that type of an experience, there's a limit on the number of people that we can have experiencing it at any one time. Or we cannot put a limit on the number of people and potentially destroy the very reason that they come there.
The committee also discussed the apparent slowdown in oil exploration and development along what is known as the Paradox Play. Oil in the region has long been known to be under the ground, but in isolated pockets called fractures. Traditional drilling methods can only access small amounts of the commodity, but a new technique called horizontal drilling promised to change that, and oil companies jumped into the act following the announcement of Columbia Oil of their successful well in the Big Flat area. But horizontal wells can cost millions of dollars to drill, and companies are now hesitant to invest that money until they are sure of success.
That's one of the concerns, is that these wells can potentially be very expensive, and they have to also be productive, very productive, in order to offset the cost. And that's why some of the companies, some of the initial interest in the area has maybe backed off a little bit, because some of the other producers are seeing how much these wells cost and that there is potential for a dry hole, you know.
The changing use of public lands has meant that previous BLM management plans for the area are no longer viable. Palmer says a new plan is in the process of being assembled.
Our resource management plan was completed in 1985 and is already obsolete. Many of the issues that we're faced with today were not issues in 1985, and we expect that we're going to have many more things in the short term that were not even considered important in 1985. That's one reason why our particular RMP has been moved up in the Bureau's schedule, is because of the things that we're seeing happening in the Moab area.
The BLM says it will spend more of its time on the ground and not in the office, patrolling their land and working to protect it. But agency critics say the BLM has to prove it will not return to a business-as-usual approach. The Moab City Council says no to the Book Cliffs Road. We'll have that story, plus the Outdoor Show with John Maynard, when the Channel 6 News continues.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Weather's really something.
Heat pump weather.
Why would anybody want a heat pump this time of year?
I can see they haven't taught you everything in college. Well, heat pumps just don't heat in the winter. They cool in the summer.
Like air conditioners?
Yeah. Heat pump's the most efficient cooling and heating system going.
Hi, Earl.
Morning, Audrey.
Come and have some tea.
Say, bring that heat pump on up, will you, son? Oh, and grab my toolbox while you're at it.
Thanks a lot, Earl.
Utah Power. Call for the H-Pro dealer nearest you and ask about our low-interest financing.
Your H-Pro dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-through for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
Monday evening, the Grand County Commission will hold public hearings on a number of zoning questions. They will look at amending the zoning laws to allow a neighborhood commercial classification. They will also hear a discussion on a request from Gary and Tony McKinnon to rezone their land along 4th North from agricultural to agricultural residential. And they will discuss a request from Carol Clark to rezone the corner of 4th North and 5th West from agricultural to commercial. Those hearings get underway at 7 p.m. in the Commission chambers of the Grand County Courthouse. The Book Cliffs Road project has lost the support of the Moab City Council. That happened Tuesday evening when the council voted to withdraw the conditional endorsement of the project they passed about 3 years ago. The Book Cliffs Road is a joint project of the Uinta and Grand County Special Service Road Districts. Both counties will build the road, then ask the State Department of Transportation to pave it. Money for the project comes from mineral lease funds returned to the counties from oil and gas leases on federal lands. The aim of the road is to provide increased access to oil and gas fields and to tar sands deposits in the cliffs. But opposition has grown, saying the money spent by the counties could be better used for other needed services. And a recent draft environmental impact statement prepared for the BLM indicated the road would not significantly increase oil and gas production. But supporters counter that the EIS is inaccurate and that counties need the tax base from more oil and gas production. 3 years ago, council members Dave Sacrison, Bill McDougald, and Terry Warner voted to endorse the project if a public referendum on the question was held. On Tuesday, Sacrison raised the question again, and longtime opponent of the road, Councilmember Dave Beerscheid, asked the council to change its position.
You know, what we're going to end up with the thing is maybe a gravel road that's going to be maintained maybe by the state, maybe by the county, that's going to be a burden to us. That money could be used right now. This city, this county needs that money to be put into it. And if this council says, well, that's a county issue, it's outside our bounds, we shouldn't worry about it, that's what was brought up in the very beginning, that's crap. We represent the majority of people in Grand County. We need to take a role in this, and maybe our vote tonight, if we voted to withdraw our support for the Book Cliff Road, would be maybe for naught. Maybe the state wouldn't listen to it, maybe the CID wouldn't listen to it, maybe the county commissioners wouldn't listen to it. But at least I think it would say we're representing the people. And I believe, talking to the people I represent, they don't want to see that money or any more money squandered on that road when it could be going towards needed facilities in Grand County. And
While Warner and McDougal voted against withdrawing the support, Beerschot was joined by Sackerson and Council member Dan Mick. It was Dave Beerschot's final City Council meeting. He has announced he will resign effective the end of this month. The Council will accept applications from city residents who would like to be appointed to fill that vacancy. Moab will celebrate July 24th Pioneer Days this Friday. Activities get underway at 7 a.m. with the annual 5-mile walk and run. For information, you can call Four Corners Design Shop. Then at 10 a.m., it's the parade up Main Street from 3rd South to 1st North. Then it's fun at the new City Park with children's games beginning at 11 a.m. and a talent show at 12:30. And from 7 to 9 in the evening, it's the annual ice cream social sponsored by the Dan O'Lory Museum, and that will take place on the courthouse lawn. And the Canyonlands Community Recycling Center will host a Recycling Awareness Day Saturday at the City Market parking lot. City Market is the site of the Downtown Recycling Drop-Off Center. There will be information on recycling, refreshments, coupons, and an appearance by Rochelle, the recycling raccoon. That's this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the City Market parking lot. United Artists Cable has announced they have the Blue Channel available for sports fans who want round-the-clock coverage of the Olympics. The channel will feature water polo, synchronized swimming, wrestling, and volleyball, as well as coverage of the U.S. Olympic basketball team. And for information, you can call United Artists Cable at 259-8136. Hazy sunshine and occasional clouds stayed in the valley on Thursday, and look for more of the same throughout the holiday weekend. The official Weather Service forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies through Friday. While it probably won't rain during the parade, there could be some scattered afternoon and evening thunder showers, especially at higher elevations. Look for thermometer readings reaching the mid-90s and overnight lows around 65 degrees. With the holiday weekend, Channel 6 will take a day off. Our next broadcast will be Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. Up next is The Outdoor Show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse. Now for extra savings, look for these special tags. Managers' special purchases, jackpot buys, and discount food and snacks. Sprouse.
And now it's time for The Outdoor Show with John Maynard.
Hi, welcome back to The Outdoors. Again today our guests are Guy Wallace, Regional Game Biologist, and Brett Johnson, Regional Conservation Officer. And I want to talk about the elk herd with Guy. Elk herd seems to be doing well, doesn't it, on the Lascelles? How much of that's due, do you think, to some of the private land up there where those elk seem to escape when the season gets started?
Well, that's definitely part of it. They learn to go where they're not being chased by bullets, so they do move into some of those areas, and I think that is probably why we've seen a little better quality on the Lascelles than some of the other areas. But on the other hand, our pressure is increasing also, our hunter pressure on the Lascelles. The Manti unit's gone to spike only, and so there's a number of people coming down from areas to the north to hunt down in here where it's still an open unit.
And talking about pressure, it's going to be even worse this fall from all estimates. The Lascelles are the only open bull area in this part of the state, and that's going to bring everybody that doesn't want to hunt on a restricted unit down here. What effect might that have? I know this is speculative, but what effect might that have?
Well, it could definitely affect the quality of the hunt that we have on the LaSalle's. It's not by any means a trophy unit now, but it definitely could increase the harvest to the point to where yearling bulls is going to be the typical harvest on the LaSalle's. And so I think, and then we're going to have crowded conditions, you know, similar to what we experienced in some other areas. So I think the effect is not going to be good by increasing the pressure on the elk herd on the LaSalle.
Brett, some of the problems that we see during the rifle season, as far as you're concerned, from a standpoint of enforcement, what are some of the big problems of the elk herd?
Well, I think the elk herd, our biggest problem, John, is trespassing. We do have 2 or 3 major tracts of private land on the LaSalle's that give these elk an area to go, an oasis, so to speak, or a refuge, rather, that they can get into and not be chased and pursued, and gives them a rest area. And individuals like to take a chance and go in there. They know those elk are in there, and they know it's no trespassing, yet they take that chance anyway.
Yeah, I think when people see an animal that's as much of a trophy as an elk, they tend to throw caution to the winds more so than they do for deer. And yet the elk herd on the LaSalle's is every bit as fragile as the deer herd is.
Sure, it's the same with deer and elk both, John. People are getting a little bit frustrated. There's less and less opportunity to get a quality hunt in. And we're looking at crowded conditions down here, and folks see an opportunity of a private piece of land with nobody on it, and they'll take a chance and go in there. But we are going to enforce that this year, and anyone in those areas has got to have a written permission slip to be in there, or they will be cited.
The rifle hunt for elk on the LaSalle's is not what we would call a quality hunt by any means, is it?
Well, I think the rifle hunt on the LaSalle's is a good hunt for elk. I think it's a crowded hunt. As you mentioned earlier, we are one of the few open areas, and I think we're going to see a reflection of the changes in Colorado here this year also. They've changed quite a bit of their structure on their deer seasons and elk a little bit that I think is going to bring us an influx of non-residents.
Yeah, they've shortened their deer season, they've upped their license fees, and I know I've been reading in national magazines people who are upset with those states, and like you say, probably will come to Utah, so we may have an influx of more out-of-state hunters this year.
I think we'll see that definitely in 92, John. I think we'll see a lot of non-resident hunters on the LaSalle's, more than we already have, which is quite a fair number already.
Okay, that's going to be it for this week's show on the elk herd. Next week, we're going to talk about some changes or proposed changes in the elk season. So until then, this is John saying we'll be seeing you in the outdoors.
And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Ken Davey reporting. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Grand County is just about ready to begin the work to renovate the courthouse complex. We'll have that story, plus a report on the House of Representatives once again voting to increase grazing fees on public lands, when the Channel 6 News continues.
Heinz Curbing can lower the maintenance on any property by installing custom stone curbing anywhere on your lawn or garden. Choose from a selection of styles that keep grass out of shrubbery and eliminate the need for edging. The look is neat, clean, distinctive. The cost very low, and the Heinz crew is usually in and out in a single day. Customers love it.
The decorative curbing I had done really enhances the look of my business, and it's very easy maintenance.
Heinz Curbing, serving Moab and surrounding communities, 259-2242.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Grand County is ready to open the bids on the courthouse renovation project, and here's Ken Davey with a report.
Almost 9 months after Grand County voters passed a referendum to fund the renovation of the courthouse and jail, commissioners say they are ready to begin opening the bids on Tuesday. The courthouse has been virtually empty, with county departments moving over to the old state office building behind the old city market. And now the construction phase is ready to start. Along with the architectural firm of Sandstrom and Associates, the county has also hired a project manager, Richard Kohler, and a construction management company, Knight Brothers Construction. The next step is the actual acceptance of the bids for the construction work. The jail will be built pretty much from scratch. The old jail structure will be raised, and in its place there will be modular cells, as well as common facilities and meeting rooms. The courtroom section will be raised as well, with new offices and rooms built, and the existing county offices will be moved and expanded. On Tuesday, the opening of the bids for the work will take place, but it won't be in Moab, according to County Commissioner Manuel Torres.
The bid opening will be tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning at Dick Kohler's office in Salt Lake.
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning.
Why are you holding it in Salt Lake City?
We asked the construction manager, which is Knight Brothers, if we would have a bigger advantage of having the bid opening in Salt Lake or in Moab, and they felt like we would get more bidders if the bid opening would be held in Salt Lake. And so since we hired him as a construction manager on the project, we felt like we should take their advice on it.
At the time when you proposed the courthouse construction project, one of the points made was that it would provide employment for local companies. Won't moving it up to Salt Lake make that more difficult?
No, because we've taken the time and the effort to really educate the local bidders to turn in their bids. I think you can ask any contractor in town that's going to bid on it if we went out of our way to help them, go through the process. They'll probably say that we have as a county.
Is this a public meeting?
The bid opening? Oh, absolutely it is.
Has it been announced anywhere? Has it been posted?
It's posted in the bid openings like they always are.
So it's posted that it's in Salt Lake City, but how would the public know that this meeting was going on if we didn't just happen to hear about it?
Well, normally the only ones that are there are the contractors themselves, and anybody's welcome to come to the meeting. So I mean, any bid opening you have, I don't know if they have to advertise that or not. Well, we do. We actually advertise it with the bid package, so it is advertised. But normally,
but that's
the
not
only
public
people,
advertising, a bid package.
Well, it's public to the contractors, so it's public.
According to Jack Neaporte of Knight Brothers Construction, his company has been assured that County Attorney Lyle Anderson said it is perfectly proper to have the bid openings in Salt Lake City, since advertising for bids was carried out and the actual awarding of the bids will take place at a regular County Commission meeting. The county will also send Building Inspector Jeff Whitney to Salt Lake City to log in all of the bids. According to Torres, the Commission wants to rely on the people they've hired to do their jobs.
I think that's why we kept it away from having a commissioners meeting, because I think that when we hired Knight Brothers as a construction manager, we gave them that obligation of doing whatever they needed to do to make this project go. Now, I, as a county commissioner, do not want to be involved with the bid openings personally or anything else. All I want to do is to make sure that the best interest of the county is being.
But even though it apparently isn't necessary, Torres said he would try to be at the bid opening Tuesday morning.
I'm not sure if David or Sam's going to make it, but I wanted to make sure that at least one county commissioner was there. And let me explain to you why. Is because we do want to protect the local contractors. And part of the package that when we went to Knight Brothers as a construction manager was that we have the people down here to do the job. And there, of course, there is some trades that we can't do. I says, I want to protect those subcontractors the best I can, and that's why I want to be at the meeting and make sure that everything is done properly.
Once construction begins, county officials hope to complete the entire project in about 1 year. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Grazing fees on public lands will go up if the House of Representatives has its way. And a change in the property valuation of oil and gas wells hits San Juan County hard. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
How do you have an instant party? Just buy a sack of subs at Subway. Take them home and serve them family style. It's more fun because everyone gets a taste of everything and no one has to cook. So if unexpected guests drop by unexpectedly or you don't feel like cooking dinner, pick up a sack of subs at Subway. We specialize in solving emergencies with food.
For more information on these and other fine sandwiches, visit the Subway near you.
That's just what I was thinking.
And so went the creation of Canyon Country Realty, doing business in the code of the Old West.
On Monday evening, the Grand County Commission will look at some zoning change requests at a public hearing at the courthouse. Gary and Tony McKinnon are asking that agricultural land at 698 West 4th North be zoned a combination of agriculture and residential. The residential classification allows lots a half acre in size, while straight agriculture says minimum lot size is 1 full acre. That hearing begins at 7 p.m. Then at 7:30, the Commission will look at setting up a special neighborhood commercial zone. The zone would allow some businesses in areas that are now residential, but would limit the types of enterprises allowed. And at 8 p.m., the Commission will hear the pros and cons on a zone change for Carol Clark, who is asking that his property at the corner of 5th West and 4th North be rezoned to commercial. In the past, some residents of the area have expressed concern that setting up a larger commercial area on the west side of town would negatively affect the neighborhood. But many also felt that some commercial use, such as medical or dental offices, should be allowed. And following the public hearing, the Commission will meet with members of the Citizens for Better Government about a proposed change of county government plan. The group submitted more than enough signatures for the plan to go to the voters. The Commission can either put it on the November ballot or call a special election within the next 18 months. Commissioners expressed disagreement with some aspects of the plan at the last full County Commission meeting. The fight over grazing on public lands continues. For the third year in a row, U.S. House of Representatives have passed a bill to significantly increase the cost to ranchers of grazing cattle and sheep on federal lands. By a vote of 245 to 164, the House approved a fee increase of up to 35% per year for the next 5 years. Opponents of grazing on the land say the domestic animals cause significant damage to the range and that the low grazing fees amount to a subsidy. But supporters of grazing say the cattle, in fact, encourage plant growth, and the raising fees will put thousands of ranchers out of business. The House bill would also utilize grazing fees that are collected to restore natural resources and would abolish the grazing advisory boards. In past years, a coalition of conservative Western senators has been able to stop the fee increase by rallying opposition in the Senate, and they're expected to do the same this time around. Right now, it costs just under $2 for an animal unit month, which is the amount of land needed to feed one cow and one calf. Change in valuation of oil and gas properties will have a big effect on southeast Utah. That was the word from San Juan County Commission last week. The state of Utah is changing its formula for determining the value of oil and gas wells, and the change will be a big boost to the companies, but a slam to local government. In San Juan County, which derives significant income from such properties, the taxable value of the county will go from over $823 million in 1992 down to about $575 million. San Juan County Commissioners say they will decide what to do about it this week. Here in Grand County, the new valuation of oil and gas properties is not expected to have quite so much impact, but expect some major budget and tax questions to emerge here. Grand County Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will not be spraying Monday evening, July 27th. The district says they decide when spraying is necessary based on the number of mosquitoes caught in traps throughout the valley and based on input from the public regarding the number of adult insects in the area. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues. Best Value Foods. Stress-free shopping where the service is unbelievable.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
It was sunny and warm in the valley on Monday, with afternoon thermometer readings climbing to the 100-degree mark. And don't expect much change over the next few days. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for mostly sunny skies through Tuesday, with some afternoon and evening clouds and just a chance of some scattered evening showers. Look for afternoon thermometer readings in the 100s, with overnight lows around 65 degrees. Long-range forecast calls for more sunshine Wednesday through Friday. Highs just about average for this time of the year, and that's about 100 degrees. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. County commissioners and members of Citizens for a Better Government argue the merits of the Change of Government initiative, and Moab residents turn out for a Back to Basics July 24th parade. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
Arches Vineyards right here in Moab is providing yet more proof that Moab is completely unique to Utah and the world. The Arches Vineyard is Utah's only commercial winery. Grapes grown and fine wine produced just 3 miles south of Center and Main in Moab. Come by the tasting room from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a taste and a tour of the award-winning Riesling or the rich and aromatic Merlot. 2182 South Highway 191, Arches Vineyards. Call 259-5397. Enjoy a toast to the grapes of Moab Valley and Arches Vineyards.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
It's the best time of year for an early morning or late evening round of golf, and they're ready and waiting for you at the Moab Golf Course. With its emerald green fairways surrounded by brilliant red rock, the Moab Golf Course has all you need to get started, including golf cart and club rentals, a complete pro shop, snack bar, driving range, and group or individual lessons. So come on out to the Moab Golf Course in Spanish Valley. Just follow the signs from Highway 191.
Grand County Commissioners say they will place the change of government proposal on the ballot this November, but they add they have major concerns about many of the aspects of the plan. That was the upshoot of a discussion held Monday evening at a special commission workshop meeting with members of Grand County's Citizens for a Better Government. That group gathered over 800 signatures earlier this year to place on the ballot a plan to reorganize county government. The plan, if passed by voters, will abolish the current 3-member commission and replace it with a 7-member council, 5 of whom would be elected by district and 2 at large. Other provisions of the plan allow for residents to recall council members and limit the number of terms to 2. Since the group obtained enough signatures, the plan must go on the ballot either this November or at a special election within 18 months. Commissioners said they would abide by that even though they didn't like some of the aspects of the plan.
As we've talked, I think that we do want it to go on the ballot, but there are certain concerns that we see as county commissioners, and it's not your role, and we understand that. Your role is to present whatever you want to present, okay? But our concerns is the people as a whole.
According to the commissioners, they are looking out for the interests of the county as a whole by raising questions about the new government plan.
As a county commissioner, I have to look at the overall, picture here in the county. And what I'm saying is I think some information needs to come forth that is, this is what happens when you have a 7-man commission. These are some of the problems that you have, and they might not be problems. I'm just saying that I think he needs to come down. He needs to explain. It's just certain things. I'm not here to judge whether you're right or wrong. I'm just saying we're trying to be just as neutral as we can with this. But we want facts to go out that are as correct as you feel that they are and as we feel that they are. Okay?
I think our judgment would be that the law seems to look to the political process once this is on the ballot to have the pros and cons come up and make their arguments. I think on the other hand, the law is fairly clear that you as a commission can expend dollars on information on election questions, but it has to be fair and balanced. He really has to present exactly both sides in an even-handed way. But I think there's certainly no objection to that. We'd invite that.
As far as looking ahead towards the election, this was one of our goals is the education of people of the pros and cons of this, because nothing is perfect. Right. I don't care how hard we work, we're not going to come up with a perfect plan. But we do feel it does meet it best meets the needs of the county, and so we're going to do that.
One aspect of the plan that the commissioners are upset about is the section that allows for the recall of council members.
The 15% of dissatisfied recall. You know, we're kind of concerned about that as commissioners. And to tell you the truth, 15% isn't that many. And what we're afraid of as commissioners is the taxpayers are going to end up paying for an election year after year after year after year.
Went to Montrose County, which is having those very problems in Colorado last weekend, and spoke to their commissioner there, and he just expressed total frustration because he said that people simply won't run. It's largely a ranching community. There are people that don't have a lot of time. It's a real thoughtful commitment of time because they're not paid very well, and that it has, he felt, really discouraged some good potential people, and also led to some personal malignancies that festered among the people, and that he felt it kind of cast a pall.
As you can, I guess I think we shared and discussed those same views and the experience in Mesa County as well that we'd heard about. I guess where we finally came down was, every place thinks they're unique and the people are unique, and to give the people a power that may be abused, it seems to me is legitimate, as opposed to sort of deny putting it in the plan because it may be abused. I think we felt ultimately that we ought to see how Grand County residents handle that.
Other objections to the plan were raised, including questions about how much it would cost and whether election by district is preferable to election at large.
What format would you suggest? Would you feel would help you feel comfortable in educating the public? And what you're asking us to do something? What would you ask us to do?
Well, I don't think that I need to ask you to do anything really, because I think there's other groups out there that are going to be willing to step forward and argue the other point. In fact, I'm sure there is. So, but I just don't want this to turn into a big, bloodbath.
But I think we do feel that the time is prime to have it now on the election, that people are thinking about it, have thought about it. And I think we'd say to you, the public's never going to be better educated than they will be by November. Okay. And I think that's where we come down.
Citizens for a Better Government members say they will ask the commission to officially agree to put the initiative on the November ballot at next Monday's regular commission meeting. It's back to basics for the July 24th parade, and some Moab residents have already applied to be appointed to the Moab City Council. We'll tell you who they are when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down. Up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore and more.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-thru for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
It isn't just Salt Lake City that holds a July 24th celebration and parade. Here in Moab last Friday, the town turned out to commemorate the arrival of the original Mormon settlers 145 years ago. Those settlers, fleeing religious persecution in the Midwest, were led by Brigham Young. They settled next to the Great Salt Lake and with their descendants built a state they're proud of. The Moab Parade featured floats from the different LDS wards in the valley, focusing on the theme, Back to Basics. Also on hand was the Moab Fire Department. Making an appearance was Smokey the Bear of the National Forest Service and Captain Action from the Stuntman's Hall of Fame. It was also a kickoff for the fall election campaign. County commissioners were on hand touting their favorite candidate, Lyle Anderson, for state representative. Republican candidate for commission Dale Mosier showed up, as did write-in candidate for attorney Sandra Starley. And representing Moab City were council members Dan Mick and Dave Sacrison. Following the parade, participants gathered for games and booths at City Park, and the evening rain didn't deter others from taking part in the annual ice cream social sponsored by the Dan O'Laurie Museum. The Moab mosquito abatement truck will be out Tuesday evening, July 28th. The district announced that the fogger will be spraying malathion throughout Zone 1. That zone encompasses the west side of Moab from the Colorado River down through the Mountain View subdivision. As always, the fogging will take place only if wind and weather conditions allow. Each day, the district will announce which parts of the county, if any, they will be spraying, and you can find out that information by calling the district recording at 259-7161. An official of the Atlas Minerals Company is expected to join county commissioners Tuesday evening for a private dinner at My Vida restaurant. Atlas owns the site of the former uranium mill just north of town. The mill has been closed for years, and the company and the federal government have been negotiating how to remove or cover the radioactive material at the site. The plan calls for dismantling the contaminated parts of the building and reusing those parts that are considered safe. But the biggest problem is the tailings pond. The pile is filled with waste material from the refining process, some of it radioactive and some of it contaminated with heavy metals. The Atlas Company has proposed capping the pile with a cement cover, but some local residents are concerned that the pile, which was put on top of an unlined sand base, could begin leaking into the local water supply, and they have urged the commission to demand the federal government move the pile, as they have at other locations near population centers. Last year, the commission appointed an Atlas committee which recommended that the pile be moved. The meeting with the Atlas Corporation is expected to discuss those questions. Moab City Hall will be accepting letters and resumes from city residents interested in filling the open seat on the Moab City Council. Council member Dave Beerscheid announced this month he is resigning effective July 31st. The other members of the council will choose someone to fill the vacancy. The term runs through the end of 1993. The deadline for applicants is 1 p.m. Monday, August 3rd. You must be a resident of Moab and at least 18 years of age. So far, the city recorder's office reports that 3 people have applied. They are John Beck, Robbie Swayze, and Reva Weber. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse. Now for extra savings, look for these special tags, Manager's Special Purchases, Jackpot Buys, and Discount Food and Snacks. Sprouse. Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Weather's really something.
Heat pump weather.
Why would anybody want a heat pump this time of year?
I can see they haven't taught you everything in college. Well, heat pumps just don't heat in the winter. They cool in the summer.
Like air conditioners?
Yeah. Heat pump's the most efficient cooling and heating system going.
Hi, Earl.
Morning, Audrey.
Come and have some tea.
Say, bring that heat pump on up, will you, son? Oh, and grab my toolbox while you're at it.
Thanks a lot, Earl.
Utah Power. Call for the H-Pro dealer nearest you and ask about our low-interest financing.
Your H-Pro dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
Bright sunshine and 100-degree temperatures stayed in the valley on Tuesday, with the promise of more of the same through the rest of the week. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for fair to partly cloudy skies through Wednesday. There's a slight chance of some afternoon and evening thunder showers, including some possible hail. But for the most part, it should be hot and dry, with afternoon readings above 100 degrees and overnight lows near 65. The long-range forecast calls for the clouds to leave by Thursday, leaving lots of sunshine and once again 100-degree days through Saturday. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The Moab City Council invites the public to an all-day forum on planning for the future, and that's coming up this Thursday. And the Grant County Commission approves changes in the county's zoning laws. We'll have those stories, plus an update on local gasoline prices, and a weekly rodeo coming to town when Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Best Value Foods, stress-free shopping where the service is unbelievable. Moab City will hold a special all-day retreat and planning forum on Thursday, and the public is invited. The increase in popularity of the valley over the last few years, and especially the last 8 months, has led city officials to feel they should step back and try to come to grips with how prepared they are to meet future needs. So on Thursday, July 30th, city officials will gather at Mavita Restaurant for a series of presentations from experts throughout the state on development and planning. Registration begins at 7:30 in the morning. Mayor Tom Stocks will open the forum, and at about 8 a.m., General Counsel to the Utah League of Cities and Towns, David Church, will speak on legal aspects of growth. Joining him will be City Treasurer Maggie Snyder, Recorder John West, and Building Inspector Pete Johnson. At 9:45, Police Chief Alan West will speak on law enforcement challenges. At 10:15, Brad Barber, the Deputy Director of the Office of Planning and Budget, will talk about how the state sees the economic and social growth of the area. At 12:30, the city will discuss water and sewer problems and opportunities, the role of the city street departments, and the city's participation in the Canyonlands community recycling effort. And at about 2 p.m., Kiran Biyani, Engineering Manager for Design and Water Quality, will speak. At 3 p.m., David Holtz of the Economic and Community Development Fine Arts Program will look at actual city planning questions. The forum is open to the public, and all interested residents are encouraged to attend. And it all gets underway Thursday morning, beginning with registration at 7:30 a.m. at Mavita Restaurant. The Grand County Commission has redefined 2 zoning categories in the county. That was the decision made Monday evening at a special public hearing on a number of zoning requests and proposals. The Commission voted to approve a zoning change for Gary and Tony McKinnon to change their property on 4th North from agriculture to agricultural residential. That change allows the minimum lot size to go from 1 full acre to 1/2 acre. And the Commission also voted to approve a request from Carol Clark to rezone his land at the corner of 4th North and 5th West from agriculture to C1 commercial. Along with those changes, the Commission also passed a new definition of C1 zoning to remove some businesses from that zone that have concerned some residents. The old C1 zone allowed private clubs, lodges, and in some cases overnight accommodations, but the new definition will make the zone what Planning Commission Chairman Tom Reese described as a true neighborhood commercial zone.
Our intention here is that this be a genuine neighborhood commercial zone, and as such, it should fit into the neighborhood that it's in.
So if you got a neighborhood of like brick houses, residential type things like that, it should be designed in a manner to be...
That's true. The landscaping should be in harmony, in particular, with the landscaping that surrounds the building, or at least not so different that it would degrade the property values of the surrounding buildings.
The new zone allows offices, medical buildings, and banks, along with small businesses such as laundromats, repair shops, and convenience stores, businesses that fit into the residential area. And Reese said the aim is to rezone entire areas, not just small plots.
This is not an ordinance which is designed for one person to come in the middle of a residential neighborhood and ask for a zoning change to C1. The intent here is to do something, for example, what Carol Clark wants to do. We're going to virtually rezone that whole street to C1. We're not intending here that there be small islands of C1 zoning scattered around residential neighborhoods. Our intention here is to confine that to planned C1 zones.
The Commission also decided to add those uses now prohibited in the C1 zone to the C2 zone, a less restrictive commercial classification. An ongoing discussion of the County Planning Commission has been over how to regulate mostly tourist-related businesses in less developed areas such as the River Corridor. Reese said the Planning Commission hopes to adopt a new category in the near future.
What we've had is a problem with people wanting to put in campgrounds, motels, that sort of thing. And our zoning in the past has been kind of a hodgepodge of where we could put those kinds of things. It was real difficult to tell what to do with them under the old zone, C1, C2 especially. And that's why we drafted the recreational commercial zone.
Planning Commission members believe the new zoning categories will bring county planning closer to meeting the needs of the community to allow business expansion and protect residential and scenic qualities. The Moab Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will be fogging Zone 2, or the east side of Moab, on Wednesday evening and early Thursday morning. Zone 2 includes those areas of the city east of Main Street, from the north end of town through the Hecla subdivision and down to around the bowling alley. The Mosquito District prepares a recorded announcement each day on where and when fogging will take place, and you can get that information by calling 259-7161. Well, 2 cowboys from Colorado plan on putting on a weekly rodeo here in Moab, and local gasoline prices are stable, but expect them to go up in the next few weeks, and we'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
Heinz Curbing can lower the maintenance on any property by installing custom stone curbing anywhere on your lawn or garden. Choose from a selection of styles that keep grass out of shrubbery and eliminate the need for edging. The look is neat, clean, distinctive. The cost very low, and the Heinz crew is usually in and out in a single day. Customers love it.
The decorative curbing I had done really enhances the look of my business, and it's very easy maintenance.
Heinz Curbing, serving Moab and surrounding communities, 259-2242.
Alpine Air has just gotten bigger with their faster, smoother Cheyenne 3. Expanded their schedule for timely connections and broadened their horizons to include Grand Junction, Colorado. Moab is now more accessible through Salt Lake to the west and Grand Junction to the rest of the world. Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the Specialized, Klein, and Mountain Goat brands, and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear, featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
We're entering the heart of the summer tourist season, and that means more spending on gasoline, both by local residents taking off on trips and visitors to the area. And Moab gas prices are just about in line with prices throughout the rest of the state. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, gas prices in Utah range from an average of $1.22 in Salt Lake and Provo to up to $1.27 in Cedar City and St. George. And prices in Moab are about in that same range, while some of the brand name gasoline stations keep their prices about a dime higher than the rest of the state average. Most vendors here in town are charging between $1.23 and $1.26 per gallon. That's generally good news for Moab because until this year, you could just about bank on prices being 5 to 8 cents per gallon higher than along the Wasatch Front. But while we're in good shape compared to the rest of the state, the bad news is that we can expect price increases over the next few weeks as wholesale prices to stations go up. One reason for the expected jump is that there is a tight supply of locally refined fuel. A price increase from California refiners has led Nevada retailers to turn to Utah sources, creating stronger demand for gasoline here and in turn a tendency for the cost to go up. The old Spanish Trail Arena is home for the PRCA Canyonlands Rodeo each June, and over the past year has hosted both high school and college rodeos. And now 2 cowboys from Colorado say it could be the home of a weekly rodeo every summer. Doug McLean is the president of the Arches Rodeo Company, a new venture here in Moab. He and his partner plan to put on a Friday evening rodeo throughout the month of August. And if it does well, they hope to run the activity through next summer.
We've felt for some time that in coming through Moab a lot, spending quite a bit of time here, that there's a need for something to do in the evenings. And I've been involved in producing rodeos for a number of years, as well as my partner, Ken Latham. And we thought this would be a good place to do it. And they have a nice facility here, so we checked into it. And sure enough, they were anxious to do something like that. So
you have an agreement with the Old Spanish Trail Arena. What is that agreement? How many shows are you going to be putting on and for how long?
Our agreement for this year goes Friday nights through September 4th, with the exception of the weekend of the 21st when the fair is here. And on August 28th and 29th, we have the Senior Pro Rodeo Tour coming in here. So we bring maybe 150 contestants and their families into Moab for that. It's a 2-day rodeo. And if after September 4th we're doing well, we may carry on through September this year. And then next year we have agreed to do 5 months.
McLean says the concept of a weekly rodeo has worked well in other places, and he expects it to succeed here in Moab.
I started a rodeo in 1973 in Snowmass, Colorado. It hasn't missed a Wednesday night since. It runs every summer, so it's going on 19 years. And I know that it's something that can be successful. I've seen the rodeo in Cody, Wyoming, and Jackson Hole. They have a rodeo regularly in Durango. And it seems to me that when people come to Moab, this area, they think of John Wayne making his movies, and one of the most asked questions, according to the Chamber of Commerce, was, where can we see a rodeo? So we decided to try to give them a place to go.
All the events you've come to expect will be on tap.
All of our the regular rodeo events, that includes your bareback bronc riding, calf roping, your saddle bronc riding, bull riding, barrel racing, team roping, and in addition we have an event for the kids. There's no entry fee or anything, but it's called a kids calf catch, and you turn a certain amount of calves in the arena with a ribbon on their tail, and each child who gets a ribbon brings it to the judge, and he's given a cowboy hat donated by the Cowboy Trading Company.
The agreement with the county's recreation district will help keep the arena booked through the rest of this summer, bringing in revenues. And it gets underway in about a week and a half.
August 7th is our first rodeo, 7:30. In addition to the rodeo, the price of the ticket includes a free country music concert with the Tracy McLean Band from Aspen, and they're a good group.
And if people want to get tickets, where do they go?
Cowboy Trading Company sells advance tickets, and those tickets are on sale for a family ticket is $20, and this includes mom and pop and all the kids. And the adult tickets in advance, correct me if I'm wrong, are $6, and children $5, and then at the door they're $7 and $6.
The Cowboy Trading Post is located on South Main Street between Subway Sandwiches and Moab Hardware. After the first few days of competition at the Utah State Youth Baseball Tournaments, Moab teams are hot in pursuit of championships. The Big A Auto Parts Reds ran into a brick wall at the state tournament, losing Monday and Tuesday and being eliminated from the competition. But the Moab Salt Giants are picking up the slack. They've won twice, including a 3-2 extra inning game Tuesday evening. They play Wednesday evening in Payson. In the Little League division, the Garner Black Sox are 2-0 and play at Spanish Fork on Wednesday. City Market Pirates, fresh off a Tuesday evening 23-0 win, also are in action at Spanish Fork. Both of Moab's Pony League teams are still in the running. After a first-round bye, the American Legion team won Tuesday, and the Utah Trophy Hunt Dodgers are now 2-0 with a 15-5 win Tuesday. And in the Colt League, the Moab team lost Monday night, but came back Tuesday with a win to stay alive in the tournament. Well, up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
In case you've been too busy to notice, McDonald's prices have changed. An original hamburger is just 59 cents, a cheeseburger just 69 cents, a sausage biscuit 79 cents. But if you're in a hurry, don't worry. Because this is not a promotion. It's McDonald's today. And from now on.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Some clouds hung over the valley on Wednesday, but for the most part, it was bright sunshine and temperatures above 100 degrees. And look for more blue skies and hot weather over the next few days. Official National Weather Service forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for fair to partly cloudy skies through Friday. Expect afternoon temperatures to reach the low 100s, Overnight lows around 65, but while you should be ready for sunscreen during the day, keep an eye out for afternoon and evening thunder showers, especially at higher elevations. Long-range forecast calls for more typical southeast Utah summer weather with some clouds but lots of sunshine and temperatures above 100 degrees. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.